We are joined from Jericho by Abdelnasser Makki, the political science professor, and from occupied Jerusalem by Ratiba Natsha, Palestinian National Action Committee member. Welcome to you both. Thanks for being back here with us on Q News. I'll start with you, Dr. Makki. So Israel's E1 settlement project threatens to divide the West Bank in two. This is going to seriously affect the possibility of a future Palestinian state, is it not?
Yes. I will start with this project started, as you know, 1997, but have been frozen because of the pressure of the United States and also of the international community and United Nations. After that, they were started to establish like a police headquarters in this place. It consists from about 12,000 dwelling, and it's close to the Malidumim settlement, which is the biggest settlement in the West Bank, close to the Jerusalem. And the aim of this, you know, that E1 settlement is to make connections between the settlements around Jerusalem, Malidumim, and also E1 and Gabahat Ze'ev. And all these things will be also related to the Rosh Hashanah settlements, closing to the Hebrew. So we are talking about the biggest settlements on the head of the mountains, close to surrounding Jerusalem. And the effect of this project is now divided, you know, that the West Bank, we will have like West Bank, north of West Bank and south of West Bank, because this place is substantial and important, you know, that area which is in the middle of the West Bank. And that's mean in the future, we are talking about the Palestinian state. I think this project will bury all the dream of the Palestinian to have their state, because this settlement is with the other settlements, which will not make the, you know, that give the possibility to the Palestinian to establish their state. And also at the same time, you know that this E1 project, as I said, it divided West Bank, and also it will divide it between West Bank and between Jerusalem, the east of Jerusalem. That means there will be a isolation area, and also at the same time, the area that should be, you know, that's prepared for the Palestinian state, it will not be there anymore. That means the Israeli extreme government, they put all their efforts after they you know, established their government in order to prevent any possibility to Palestine to have their state. And also at the same time, they have their dream, for their Jewish dream, like what Smotrich said and like what Netanyahu said, that this land will be for the Israeli. And because of this, they will start to make their best effort in order to displacement the Palestinian from the area near Jerusalem, and also for the in the villages of the West Bank. Especially now they started in northern part of the West Bank in the Tulkarem, Jenin, and Nablus. And also before 1 week they entered Ramallah, which is the capital of the PNA, and also at the same time Hebron. And they will started to now today. He will announce about a new shape of authority in the West Bank, which is the Emirate of Hebron.
Well, okay. Well, let me just bring in Ratiba Natsha, because she's been waiting for a little while. And I'm going to come back to you shortly. But Ratiba Natsha, Ireland and Spain have already recognized the state of Palestine in recent months. More countries like the UK, France, Canada, Australia are due to follow next month. How significant is this, and what difference could it make?
Actually, first of all, good evening for you and for your guest and everyone that they show us now. And it's like, yes, it's a victory for the Palestinian diplomacy, and yes, it's an achievement for the Palestinian. Although the E1 project and other projects that Israeli aimed from it to collapse the PLO, still the dream of the Palestinian state can be possible by these organizations of the Palestinian state, because now we reach for the point that says that getting the Palestinian state through negotiation is not significant anymore. And we see the frozen of these negotiations and not achieving any kind of agreements since 30 years till now. So we need another path to to put new realities on earth, as well as Israel is trying to put the new realities to make it impossible for the Palestinians to have their states. We can achieve this in a diplomatic way by these organizations of the states of Palestine, with its borders line according to the UN legacy and resolution. So when we are talking about these organizations, it may seem useless on ground by the realities that Israel is trying to put by building more settlements, by separating the cities of and countries of the Palestinian state from each other and making it impossible for them to be continued as one piece of land. But still, we can reach this state by another way, by putting the points on the lines, and to say that this is the Palestinian state that we are looking forward to it, and recognizing Palestine as a state under occupation. And this will change the situation of Palestine in the international law and give us more tools in the international arena to use it against this aggressive and exploring of action that Israel is taking against the Palestinian rights of establishing their state and the Palestinian rights in total. We know that this project, E1 project that we talked, that you talk about it previously, was first planned on 1999. In 1990, before the Oslo Agreement, and it was frozen to give the Oslo Agreement a chance to establish a Palestinian state. But relieving this project again means that Israel insisting to kill the agreement and to go over it. So we must take an action to make it possible for the Palestinians to have their state in a diplomatic way, and another way out of the negotiation and out of the square of Oslo agreement. And these organizations will make this step possible and give us more tools as Palestinians to achieve our independent state.
And Dr. Makki, we're now seeing daily raids, demolitions, forced displacement in Palestinian villages. What message do these actions send about Israel's long-term intentions?
I think all the Israeli now, what they are making and what they are doing on the West Bank, city and villages, as you know, we witnessed many of the horrible, that's attacking from the Israeli, especially in the villages of Nablus and Ramallah, and also Hebron, and also Jordan Valley. And also they in some villages like for Malik, Ramallah, Al they, that remove about 10,000 olive trees, which is the main source of income for the Palestinian. What the Israelis want to do is that they want to push on the Palestinian citizen to pressure on their life. And also they started with the refugee camp in Jenin, Tulkarem, and in Nablus. And also they displaced the people from there. They want to make their life miserable, and they want to try to get them out of removal from Palestine, from West Bank, out like what they are doing now in Gaza. That means they want the land without people, and this is their message, because this is one thing that they could also prevent to the Palestinian to establish their state, which is the land without people. So this is the messages from the government of Israeli. Now, yesterday, Smotrich, they announced even said that there will not be any state for the Palestinian, and they will started to pressure on the Palestinian by displacement the Palestinian, by demolition also all the houses, also by not allowing them to even to build and establish, on especially in the Jordan Valley, which is the biggest area in the West Bank. And also many of the action of the Israeli that they will destroy now thousands of houses and many of the houses in Bedouin, especially in the E1 settlements. And that means the Israeli now they started their planning to make the settlements and also to remove the people from the land. All these things, and also at the same time, as you know, this is not they are doing today. It's from about maybe 60 or 70,000, 60 or 70 years when they started the occupation West Bank. And from that time, from 1967, when alone, which was when the minister of the Israeli government and after the war, he announced that his project, which is, he said that this land will be for the Israeli and there will not be any Palestinian state. And because of this, they started to excavation all the land, especially in the Jordan Valley, closing to the Jordanian borders. So this is the things, and this is what we are witnessing what the Israelis doing now, especially now they're increasing all these action in the ground. They want to make the fact on the ground that there is no any possibility for the Palestinian to have their state.
Ratiba al-Natsha, we mentioned the countries that are planning to recognize Palestine as a state next month, but Germany is in a very different position. Of course, a very close ally to Israel these days, at least. What do you make of their stance that they say that any recognition of a Palestinian state undermines the attempt to reach a negotiated two-state solution and would be counterproductive? What's your view on that?
Just that Germany is defending the Israeli actions, and they have unconditional support for Israel for doing whatever they want. The international law is very clear. The UN resolutions is very clear as well. The right of the Palestinians to establish their state is very clear as well. We go for the path of negotiation for more than 30 years. It lead for nothing. And we see that the side that left everything behind and announced that they are out of the Oslo agreement is the Israeli side, not the Palestinian side. The PLO till now, the Palestinian Authority, is still doing its duties according to Oslo agreement. In the other side, the Israeli side is not respecting any kind of these duties or doing any of these duties. In the opposites, they are trying to create a new reality that it make it impossible for the Palestinian and the Israeli to get for an agreement for this Palestinian state after this long time and all the realities on the earth. So we need another path. But some countries is still very afraid to take any action against Israel, still under the Israeli will, and they see that the Israeli will is over even the will of their people and even over the international community and legitimacy. So they are supporting Israel without any condition, and this unconditional support for Israel may give Israel the green line to make more and more action against the international law and make it like without any worthless and without any value in these days to reserve or to reserve any kind of resolution or find any kind of resolution for this continuous suffering of the Palestinian people. We are talking now about countries that even didn't goes with the will of its parliament and the ministers in the government as well, not just the will of the people in the streets. So it seems that there is a very big control and power that Israel is using over these countries and threat these countries well and right to take decisions freely. It seems that those countries are occupied by the mind from the Israeli lobby, and they control their decisions as well. It's a real taste and exam for the international legitimacy at all, and the international community at all, what will happen in next September, next month, in the UN, and this wave of recognition of the Palestinian rights and state in the UN. I think that the countries that will refuse to um, to give the Palestinians their right to establish their independence state, as well as all the people in this planet, are really occupied in their minds and in their will, and they are against the human rights and against the international legitimacy, and they need to be free and set free from this Israeli control on them, more than anything else. So I think that this organization is the examination of the real well of this world and the real well of the international legitimacy, and giving the Palestinian their rights according to this legitimacy. If we fail to have a Palestinian state according to the UN resolution, then it will be a real threat for Israel. Maybe they didn't notice this issue, that non-recognizing and taking action against this organization for the two-state solution means that this two-state solution will be ended, and ending the two-state solution will give the Palestinians the right to re-put their demands, and to ask for the whole historical Palestine to be their homeland, not just to have a state on a piece of their homeland, which is given like one third of this homeland, given by the international organization, resolutions, and this international legitimacy. I think that we are all under a real examination now, and we are all putting or re-putting our programs, priorities, and demands according to this event that will happen in the UN next September.
Yes, of course, Dr. Makki, there has been wide international condemnation of the new West Bank settlements, hasn't there, from European countries? I mean, most Israeli settlements, of course, are considered illegal under international law, but condemnation is not quite enough, is it? Why has there been no legal or political action taken, do you think?
Because still we are getting
sorry, that's to Dr. Makki. I'll come back to you in a moment.
You know that the settlements from 1967 or before that, when the Israelis started to establish the settlements, it was on the building of the Palestinian land. So this is something illegal because the Israeli, they took their land, the Palestinian land. From that time, the Israeli started to increasing the, the establishment and building the settlements in all the West Bank and East Jerusalem. There are many of the, that's United Nations resolution against this, and also against the Israeli action on the ground, not just for the settlement, but also against Israeli what they did. Especially, we are talking about 242, 338, and also 2334. All these, that resolution is coming from the United Nations against the Israeli. But what is happening is that when they go into the United Nations, especially for the Security Council, in order to vote against any action against Israel, the United States of America, they use their veto against this, that decision. So because of this, we couldn't see any action against Israeli, especially on the issue of the settlements. And because of this, the Israelis started to, increasing the establishment of the settlements. There are some places that was not before established settlement there, but the Israeli, that's increasing, especially in the north part of West Bank and also southern part in Hebron and the Jordan Valley. We are talking about the Jordan Valley. We are talking about 27 settlements in the Jordan Valley, which is the biggest, that place for that's for the agriculture. It will should be for the Palestinian state, but the Israeli said from the beginning that this place is forbidden to Palestinians to build or to make any things in this land, which is about 1,000 kilometers. So what is the reason? It's illegal, but what is the reason why all the international community couldn't do anything? Because there is no any real, that's even action against Israeli, and also at the same time, the American is standing with the Israeli, regardless that the American said, especially for the 2334 resolution against the settlement, but now Trump administration, they are with the Israeli and they are, that's now they support them, encourage them to establish and building the settlements on the West Bank.
And Ratiba Natsha, why do you think there hasn't been any action taken of these new settlements in the West Bank? And do you think that these countries recognizing the Palestinian state might shift the balance of power, or do you think Israel will just continue to ignore them?
Israel is always ignoring the international legitimacy and the international agreements and all the UN resolutions. So it's not something new. They are trying to create a new reality, but it will give the Palestinian more PowerPoints and cards and tools to use in the international community, and using more international tools. And this is what we are seeking from this organization. It's not about changing the reality on the ground, because we know that since Oslo Agreement, the growth of the settlements was rapidly because of the Oslo Agreement that says that we will make the final borders and situation according to the balance of the people. So they are trying to transfer as much as possible from the Israeli people inside the West Bank. So they will change the balance of the demography in the West Bank and control more land. And yes, they didn't need to have a Palestinian state since day one of Oslo Agreement. They want to use the negotiation to have more time to create a new reality and a new situation that makes the Israeli the majority and control all the resources and the lands. And maybe they will give some ghettos or small lands, islands, sorry, from here to there for the Palestinian, that they can control it. And this is the plan from the beginning. And if you watch the plan of E1, for example, and it's not just this project, but it's one of those projects that will make the great Jerusalem in 600 kilometers, and it will be the largest capital on the world, according to the percentage of the land of Israel, to have a capital of this huge amount of lands under it. So they want to make from this project the Palestinian areas separated from each other so they can control it easily. So this is the plan from the beginning. They are not planning to change the power balance or to give the Palestinian any chance of this Palestinian state. They are trying to change realities. And what we are trying to do through these organizations and announcing Palestine under occupation is to use more tools to stop Israel and to force it by the international law and the international legitimacy to stop its trying and its plans to change these realities by
well, sorry to cut you off, but we're just out of time. Sorry about that. Ratiba Natsha, Palestinian National Action Committee member, thank you very much for joining us, and of course, political science professor Abdelnasser Makki. Thank you very much, both of you, for being with us on the program.